Hello, I'm Tracy Ann Burgess and welcome to the Change Studio. In this video we'll be learning techniques that will help you make decisions as you're moving through change and also help boost your ability to think and act independently. We'll be following some step-by-step, easy to follow practices that will help you become stronger, wiser and more connected to who you are and what you want. Anyone who knows how change can really affect your life knows that it can be like the domino effect. You can have overjoy of it all. You can have one thing that changes one moment and then that can then affect everything else. So you can have a change in your career that can affect your relationships, can affect your social status, your financial status, your identity, your sense of identity. That's a big one. And it can just go boink, 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 boink. It's like this tsunami of change that goes right through your life. And it's like, oh my God, where do I start pulling this all back together? And it's sort of like a big knot. And then there's like, where's the end of the string? You know, like where do I start? And so for me, the idea of independence is just so important because even though you may have external help, they might not be there in the middle of the night when you're having a bit of a meltdown. You know, like they might not always be available. And you know what? Sometimes I found with some of the people I was talking to, after a while, they don't want to talk to you about it anymore. They're sick of it. In fact, a very interesting point about change is that people find change really uncomfortable. So not just for yourself, but if you're talking to your friends or family about some big change that you have, like it might be a divorce or it might be some great big change, that makes them feel uncomfortable. And they've only got a certain amount of kind of tolerance to discuss this with. So at some point, it's going to come back on you. So get your journal out or your notebook, whatever you have at the ready, so that you can start capturing all of your aha moments and your realizations and your shifts, and to help you start connecting in with yourself. And we'll be posing some questions to you and you'll be answering them from your own authority. That's what this whole card is about. The number one card is independence, and it's about really working with and connecting and developing your own authority to determine your own life. It's really good stuff, especially when you're going through change. When you think of change, it's a transformation. So it's like, you know, you hold one position, and let's just use an example, like maybe you have a business and you understand all of the things about your business, you hold different roles in your business, and then suddenly you lose your business. Hello. That's what happened to me. You lose your business overnight and then you have to pivot. You have to learn to change from here to go over there. So it's a transformational sort of a shift. The thing is, you have to choose your destination. So you're here, and then how do you get over there? And you want to make sure where you're going to, what you're changing to is in alignment with who you are and what you want. And that's why we use the independent card first, because the independent card is all about building your self-belief and your self-trust, so that you really can build your own authority. With that, I mean, it doesn't mean you can't go and speak with your friends or a family or a counselor or something. It just means that you consult your own opinion and your instinct and your views first before anyone else. That's what the exercise is going to be. It's going to be one of the exercises that we use for this card. Building independence is really important during change and a big life change, because it's just so tempting to it sort of feels like you're falling. You can feel like you're falling if you're going through like a really big change. You can get quite disorientated, quite overwhelmed. And it's sort of like you're grabbing onto something. I mean, that's how I was feeling when it sort of happened to me. It was over quite a long period of time, but there would be moments when I'm thinking, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing, and all this has changed. I don't have the same roles, and I don't have the same financial status or social status, and I don't have any money. I don't have any resources. And what do you change to? And it's really easy to sort of go help, like somebody outside of me, or look for advice, look for other people's authority. And this card is really about keeping on stepping back into your own authority and believing and trusting in yourself that you do know how to direct and determine your own life. So when you start navigating change and you start making decisions to adjust, to kind of like adjust your sails, if you like, to the winds of change that are blowing through your life, you need to kind of plot a course, plot a destination, at least initially, so you don't kind of go down the wrong track. Like, you don't want to get all overreactive about it. It's like, oh my God, this relationship's failed, so now I'm going to drink a bottle of wine a night, or now I'm going to, oh, I don't care, I'm just going to go and work in a box factory or something. These are some conversations going on in our house, so that's why I can tell you that. So it's really important for you to work out what's really important for you, which direction you want to go, and then start making decisions on how to get there. So we're just going to talk about one practice initially. So I don't want to overwhelm you, because sometimes overwhelm can really be the enemy when you've got a lot of change going on. Or you can start inviting change in, and as soon as you start it, it's sort of like it goes from a trickle to a flood. So let's just start with one step at a time. So we're going to start with the first practice for today to help you strengthen your independence. Today is a really exciting day for me, because today is the first day we're going to be working with a passport change kit. Over a 5-year period, I created this change kit for women to navigate a big life change. And I did it because my life had been flipped upside down about 5 years ago. And I really needed like a change map, something that I could follow step by step to get my life back on track. Because really, where do you start? So you need to know your start point, and then the middle point, and then the end point. So I've created these 14 steps, and it comes in the form of this change kit, which consists of videos, a book, and 14 cards. But you don't need any of that to follow along. You just follow along with my videos. So whether you've had a big life change suddenly thrust upon you, or whether you'd just like to invite more change into your life, this is the place where you're able to learn change skills, and there'll be 14 of them that you'll be able to use to get your life back on track. So when I say 14 change skills, don't get overwhelmed. We're just going to be doing them. They're just incremental kind of changes, and it starts off very gently and slowly. And we start with the first 5 cards, and they are called the First Aid 5. So the change kit is broken up into 3 stages, and the first stage is the First Aid 5, and they're known as the First Responder cards. And they are the First Responder cards because they're the cards that help to ground you and center you when you're really in the middle of a big life change and you're already feeling overwhelmed, and you just need to kind of circle the wagons and get yourself into a place of kind of clarity and grounded space, so that you can navigate your way forward. Now the good stuff starts. Let's start with the practice. So theory is all well and good, but within minutes you might forget it. Even all the stuff that I've been talking about now, within 5-10 minutes you might sort of go, oh, I can't remember what she was saying. But if you actually start practicing something, if you get your pen and paper out, you start posing questions to yourself, you start digging deep inside and start to come up with some answers for yourself, that's where the progress is. So let's start with doing this practice. Here is the practice for the independence card. I've created a value table, which is a particular way for you to be able to rate different aspects of your options so it's easier for you to make a decision. Let's just hop into it. The value table starts with you writing down a decision that you want or need to make. And then you can list at least 5 options that you could choose regarding this decision, like which way do you want to jump? The next step is to use the value table below to rate each option on its value as it aligns with who you are, what you need, what you want, your rational score, which is your kind of like logical rational conclusion, and your instinctual score, which is like your instinct or your gut feeling. You can see in the boxes that it goes from a 1 to a 10. So you can see with the first option that you're writing down, how does it align with who you are, like your personal values? In the future, cards 6, 7 and 8, that's release, truth and purpose, we'll be looking at a lot more deeper ways to be able to understand what your personal truths and your personal principles are. But let's just work with what we've got for now. And then the second one is alignment with what you need. So how would this option fulfill your need? And then alignment with what you really want. Then your rational value and your instinctual value. And then narrow down all your options to the top contenders. So cull them down to the top contenders and then list all the advantages and the disadvantages for these top 2 choices. After that, compare the value table and the advantages and disadvantages tables and make your decision, write it down. Make an action plan for the steps that you'll take after your decision is made and follow through and back yourself 100%. Please feel free in the comments to write down any kind of difficulties that you're having with change, what you find is the toughest thing about change, what's been the most confronting for you, and I'll respond in the comments. Also, if you like what I'm doing here, please subscribe to my channel, click the bell, and I will also put a link to the PDF of the value table and also a link to my website should you be interested in finding out more about me or purchasing a change kit. I hope you found this video useful, and tune in next week for the number 2 card, which is all about working out your zones of genius, what you're really good at, what you're kind of born to do, what you're passionate about. And it's very interesting to see how it pertains to your life from when you were really young to right now.